In today's episode, how do you deal with rejection from customers, especially in those early stages? Rejection from investors. I mean, you're going at it, you're going so hard, you're meeting the right people, you're reaching out, you've got your CRM, your spreadsheets. These are who I'm talking to, and you're just getting no after no after no. But you believe so strongly, you know, in your heart of hearts and in the depth of your being that you guys are building something incredible and that the world needs it and people will pay for it. Hi, I'm Alexsandra. I'm a seasoned climate tech and crypto founder who co-founded a pioneering carbon removal company. And now I work with founders and entrepreneurs like you who are looking to scale their innovative businesses without burning out. Let's get to today's video. Dealing with rejection is one of the most important skills in life, in the school of life, not just in the founder's journey, but specifically for founders in tech who are looking to raise money from venture capitalists or other investors, whether you're at seed stage or angel stage. There's also the challenge of dealing with rejection from potential customers. And the reason why this becomes such a challenge for founders in their journey is it feels personal. It feels like your work, the project you're building, the startup, your idea is your baby. And so when you're reaching out to potential customers or investors and you're getting no after no after no, it can be incredibly daunting. And it can feel like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm wrong. And you start to doubt yourself. As always in my videos, I like to be very clear. There's a spectrum here. There's always a spectrum. Things are not black or white. And you need to determine what is that healthy range of that you're going for. Because on one side, you could be overconfident, not listening to the data, not listening to the customers, and saying, you know what, actually, the thing that we're offering or how we're offering it isn't what people actually want. On the other hand, on this side of the spectrum, if you are so insecure about your idea that when people say no, you question every move, every feature. Are you doing the right thing? Is this even the right? You're not going to be able to make clear decisions. So the idea is come somewhere in the middle. You need a healthy sense of confidence in what you're building, in your team, in your vision, in your strategy, with enough open-mindedness and groundedness to allow for you to be wrong. And the reason why rejection can be so memorably painful to us is because in psychology, we have this term called negative biases. We have a cognitive bias to negative events. We hold on to them. This is actually why our news feed in our Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, even YouTube will feed us increasingly negative content because it gets us more riled up and we stay on the feed in the platforms longer and longer and longer. Not the best thing, right? Another topic for another time about technology and how we can leverage this. But it's important to understand that this is the way our brains work. We are hyper fixated on what went wrong. So that rejection, we will focus on all of those rejections or that one nasty email we got from our cold email campaign, whatever it might be, and think we need to rewrite the whole campaign. And that's not the truth. Truth is, you're going to have a lot of no's. You're going to have to ask a lot of people. Some people are not going to be the right fit. You just didn't qualify the lead, or you didn't know you weren't able to qualify the lead until after you talked to them, whether it's an investor or a customer, for example. And it's a numbers game and it's volume. And do not let your negative biases keep you trapped in this insecurity realm where you're constantly doubting, rethinking, and restructuring your features, your visions, etc. But also, again, don't be so stuck that you ignore and you're arrogant, that you're not listening to any feedback. Our cognitive bias towards negativity is really useful. And the reason for this is because if we didn't pay attention to what was going on wrong in the world, what were the threats, we would have died. It's like a natural selection at work. However, we have to acknowledge that this is something that, while innate to us in our brains and us as a species, it can hinder our progress when we are in industries where we're creating something new. Getting stuck in the negativity, feeling fearful, the consequence of being stuck in negativity, especially after you hear rejection, will stop you from being creative. And your creativity is the most powerful thing that you have, especially in the age of AI. AI can automate everything, can run tasks for us. Our jobs as entrepreneurs, as founders, is to harness the beautiful creativity and the empathy that we have in connecting with our teams, our customers, and our investors to hear from them what is it that's really landing and what isn't, and why not. And when it comes to rejection, I love the phrase that's often said now is rejection is simply redirection. Now, this could be redirection in a couple different ways. For example, it could be redirection in your product and your vision. Perhaps you're talking to the right customers or the right investors, but what you're offering them or how you're saying it isn't the right thing that they're looking for. And so, how you go about that, the solution needs tweaking. And this is where the iterative process of building a product is super helpful. And there's lots of systems, lots of wonderful people who have published content on that. Go dig into that. Or the other option too is that you need to be redirected in who you're approaching. Maybe you're not approaching the right audience, the right investors, or the right customers. And maybe your product is perfect. It just belongs to someone else. It's solving a pain point for a different market. And I know it can be super tempting to take these multiple rejections, especially in the beginning of your journey, very personally. It can feel daunting. But this is when I say, be analytical. Be really good at measuring your data, at writing down who are all the people you reach out to, all the investors. If you're not processed about this, if you don't have a clear list of people that you're reaching out to, a CRM or a spreadsheet where you're tracking who you reached out to, what their responses are, etc., what their industry is, some categorization, you're gonna get lost. Data is your friend, and there are ample tools that we have available to track all this information. This is when I like to say that creating a new innovating business, a startup, is a bit of art and a bit of science. There's a gut feeling, there's intuition, there's so much that's being processed subconsciously that we know, okay, this is the right thing. And also, it's a science in the aspect that you need to be tracking the information. What are the assumptions you're making about your business, whether it's your lean canvas or who are the right investors to reach out to? You want to have this all documented, written down, because otherwise, and take the time. Oh my God, please take the time to document and write down who you're reaching out to, what your processes are, what your assumptions are in your business model. If you haven't done your business model canvas, please do that. Oh my gosh, take the time to do that, because if you're not clear and you're not documenting this, you're getting lost. And your team is probably talking in circles, going round and round and round. Maybe in 6 months' time, you're going to talk about the same problem or the same feature that someone else thought of later, and you're just going to repeat. It's really tough and a really exciting time when you're building a startup to have lots of ideas. But if you're not organized, you're going to get lost. And if you're organized and you're able to see clearly what's working with who and what isn't, and at what volume and numbers, you'll be able to see, hey, actually, 2% of the target customers that we reach out to are actually interested in what we're doing. That's actually not so bad. How can we scale up our outreach to more of those customers so that those 2% become our main customer base, which is completely possible. And then you look at systems. What is the cheapest way of doing this so that we decrease our customer acquisition costs, etc. I understand that when you're feeling rejected and the world starts to close in on you and everything seems dark and you're panicking, that it can be really hard to think through these numbers, through these processes, and to think more clearly. But this is why managing your mindset as a founder is the number one skill. It is so important, because if you're not keeping this or this super clear, you're not going to be able to have the clarity of strategic decision making that you need in order to make the right calls to get yourself to success. You're not going to be able to be creative with your team, collaborate on the right solutions, pivot where you need to, and you won't be able to find that happy medium. You'll be like swinging from either end. That's it for today's video. I hope you found it helpful. If you found this content helpful and you want to see more of it, please like and of course subscribe to my channel. If you're a founder who's struggling with stress and burnout and just want to break free from all of that, there's a link in the description below. Nothing crazy, just some information about what I do to help founders like you through the journey so that you can scale your innovating businesses, make the impact you want in this world, feel really good and fulfilled with all the clarity and confidence and not burning out. That's it for today. I hope you guys have a lovely day.